Don't agree to your terms for the White House card.
You know, I'm not negotiating with the UFC on behalf of myself for this fight, like usual. I'm negotiating with the United States of America on behalf of Ireland for this fight. So it's a peculiar one. But Trump and the administration have been fully supportive and backing, and I cannot wait
Should John
to
Jones
put
be
on
on
a
that
show.
card?
Yeah.
Guys, please try to shoot us one of my own. I can get you one if you want.
I tell you what, your work ethic is inspiring. Your work ethic is inspiring.
Conor McGregor just slammed Dana White with a statement that has the entire MMA world talking, and Dana White is not going to like this. That's right, the Notorious has completely bypassed the UFC and is now claiming he's negotiating directly with President Donald Trump for the historic White House fight card. And wait until you hear his demands: $100 million and 100 golden visas. Let's break this down. Conor McGregor appeared at BKFC Manchester recently and absolutely slammed Dana White with some jaw-dropping statements that sent shockwaves through the combat sports community. Listen to what he said, and I quote, "I'm not negotiating with the UFC on behalf of myself for this fight like usual. I'm negotiating with the United States of America on behalf of Ireland for this fight."
You know, I'm not negotiating with the UFC on behalf of myself for this fight, like usual. I'm negotiating with the United States of America on behalf of Ireland for this fight.
The biggest star in UFC history just slammed Dana White by announcing he's going over his head and dealing directly with the Trump administration. This is a direct shot at the UFC president, and it's unprecedented. McGregor went on to say, "It's a peculiar one. Trump and the administration have been fully supportive and backing, and I cannot wait to put on a show."
So it's a peculiar one. But Trump and the administration have been fully supportive and backing, and I cannot wait
Should John
to
Jones
put
be on
on a
that
show.
card?
Now, if you've been following the story, you know that President Trump and UFC President Dana White have been working together to organize a historic fight card at the White House lawn in June 2026 to celebrate America's 250th birthday. But nobody expected this twist.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little. We're not. Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal too.
Number 1, $100 million. That's right, $100 million for a single fight. Now, to put this in perspective, McGregor reportedly made around $30 million for his boxing match against Floyd Mayweather back in 2017, though he's claimed the number was higher.
Boys, 2001. Emotional showers in this bitch. Machiavelli.
Bitches come and go. But you know I stay.
But here's where it gets interesting. Just weeks ago, Canelo Alvarez reportedly made around $100 million fighting Terence Crawford in a Saudi-funded event that was actually promoted by Dana White. So McGregor is clearly looking at that boxing money and saying, why not me?
Down. Hit from one of those uppercuts on the inside.
Oh!
Boxing. I believe, guys, either Canelo...
There's punch of boxing.
Good
shot
left hand from Crawford.
Which was his respect. I'm sure. But it also helps Crawford get into a rhythm. That Canelo's landed, and you see Crawford. Those counters are very, very important.
But wait, there's more. Demand number 2, 100 U.S. golden visas for his family and friends. Now, for those who don't know, these gold card visas were implemented by the Trump administration through an executive order. Basically, anyone who donates $1 million to the Commerce Department gets fast-tracked immigration status. So, McGregor is essentially asking for $100 million worth of these visas on top of his $100 million purse. That's a $200 million package deal we're talking about here.
You will walk away with?
I will clear the 100 million mark.
Easy.
100%.
Is it possible too?
No. If it clears Pacquiao numbers, which it will, which in my mind it already has, it will be 100 million. Factor the gate, factor the merchandise sales, factor all the pies that I have my hand in. I will clear the 100 million mark.
McGregor took to Twitter to make his demands public, stating, $100 million to fight at the White House, along with 100 U.S. golden visas for myself and family and friends. I look very forward to entertaining the fighting world once again, a pleasure I never take for granted. Dana White has confirmed plans to move International Fight Week from Las Vegas to Washington, D.C. The event is scheduled for late June 2026, just 1 week before July 4th. And get this, they're expecting over 85,000 fans to watch the fights on massive screens from President's Park. Dana recently shared mock-up images of an octagon setup on the south lawn of the White House. Can you imagine? The leader of the free world hosting cage fights on the presidential lawn.
It'll be under 5,000 though, but I can't remember what they call it. There's a park that's connected to the White House. We could put 85,000 people over there with screens and, we're going to put a big stage out there and do concerts, and we're going to take over Washington, D.C. that whole week.
McGregor has already announced his preferred opponent, his longtime rival, Michael Chandler. You'll remember these two were supposed to fight at UFC 303 last year, but McGregor pulled out with a broken toe. That rivalry has been brewing for years, and what better stage than the White House? But here's the thing. Dana White has said the matchups won't be finalized until February 2026, so nothing is set in stone yet. Other big names are throwing their hats in the ring too. Ilia Topuria has expressed interest in headlining, and even John Jones wants in, though Dana seems hesitant about including him. So here's the million-dollar question, or should I say the $100 million question? How is Dana White going to react to getting slammed like this?
That 100 million change, Conor?
It's impossible for that money not to affect you and phase you. And to be a young guy and not let his ego get in the way.
And now Conor McGregor, the company's biggest star ever, is publicly slamming Dana White by stating that he's not negotiating with the UFC. He's negotiating with the United States government. That's the ultimate disrespect to Dana and the UFC brass. The reality is, if the US government is funding or backing this event as part of America's 250th birthday celebration, the normal UFC pay structure might not apply. McGregor seems to be positioning this as a government-sponsored exhibition rather than a traditional UFC event.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little... We're not. Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people.
But will UFC parent company TKO be okay with setting this precedent? If McGregor gets $100 million for one fight, every other fighter is going to want a piece of that pie. This could fundamentally change fighter negotiations moving forward. Dana White hasn't publicly responded to McGregor's latest comments yet, but you can bet he's having some intense conversations behind the scenes right now. Well, McGregor and Trump have developed quite the relationship. Trump called McGregor great and named him as his favorite Irish person. McGregor attended Trump's inauguration in January 2025, and in March, he visited the White House as part of the St. Patrick's Day festivities.
Well, I do happen to like your fighter. He's got the best tattoos I've ever seen. I don't know if I'm a big, but Conor's great, right? Talking about Conor, but you have a lot of great Irish fighters, actually, great fighters. I don't know what that is, but Ireland's always had a lot of good fighters. You know why? Because they're tough people. They're smart people and they're passionate people, and they really have been over the years.
McGregor has been increasingly vocal about political issues, particularly regarding Ireland. He even attempted to run for Irish president earlier this month before dropping out of the race. He's clearly trying to position himself as more than just a fighter. He wants to be seen as a political figure representing Ireland. Whether this is just McGregor's typical promotional bluster, or if there's real substance behind it remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, the man knows how to generate headlines and leverage relationships.
Yes. Perfect. Yes. 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 Yes.
Now let's bring this back down to earth for a moment, because we need to be realistic here. Conor McGregor hasn't fought since 2021 when he suffered that horrific broken leg against Dustin Poirier. That's a 4-year layoff, and by the time this White House event happens in June 2026, it'll be almost 5 years. He did rejoin the UFC's drug testing pool over the summer, which is the first step toward getting back in the octagon, but being in the testing pool doesn't guarantee anything. And let's not forget, McGregor's career has been marred by legal issues. A civil court jury found him liable for sexual assault in 2018, and he lost an appeal against that verdict in July 2024. While he continues to deny the allegations, this is the reality of the situation. So the question becomes, is the US government really going to pay $100 million to a controversial fighter who hasn't competed in 5 years? And will they provide 100 golden visas worth $100 million in donations? That's a tough sell, even with Trump's backing. So there you have it, folks. Conor McGregor is making power moves, slamming Dana White by bypassing the UFC entirely and demanding an unprecedented payday for the most historic fight card ever assembled. What do you think? Should Conor get his $100 million and those golden visas? Did McGregor cross the line by slamming Dana White so publicly? Or is McGregor just playing the game at the highest level? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this developing story.
UFC fight at the White House next year. UFC President Dana White confirming Thursday, the fight is happening, roughly 2 months after President Trump's initial announcement.
The grounds of the White House, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people.
Ivanka Trump sends a clear message to the sports world. The White House is about to become the most exclusive fighting venue in American history. Quote from Dana White, "When Trump called me, he said I want Ivanka in the middle of this. The South Lawn is getting an octagon, the Lincoln Memorial is hosting weigh-ins, and America's 250th anniversary just got a whole lot more explosive. What's up, fight fans and political junkies? We've got breaking news that's going to blow your mind. The Trump administration just greenlit the most unprecedented sporting event in White House history, and Ivanka Trump is the mastermind making it all happen. This isn't just politics. This isn't just sports. This is history in the making." Dana White, UFC's billionaire CEO, walked into the White House last Friday with what seemed like an impossible dream. But when he walked out, he had presidential approval and Ivanka Trump as his co-conspirator. White literally posted on social media, "The White House fight is on. We got it done today."
Finally is right. I got shit to do, everybody. I had a great day. Just about to take off here from Washington, D.C. We had the meeting at the White House. Could not have gone better. This is going to be awesome. White House fight is on. The White House fight is on. I will have more details on that in the next couple weeks. But we got it done today.
But here's the kicker. This wasn't Trump's solo decision. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump specifically told White, "I want Ivanka in the middle of this." And Ivanka, who's a legitimate blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, didn't just participate, she took control of the planning process.
I want Ivanka in the middle of this, so Ivanka reached out to me.
The meeting was so successful that White left on a private jet, immediately announcing to the world that the impossible had become possible. We're talking about turning the most secure building in America into a fight venue. This is the same Ivanka who distanced herself from politics, spending time at celebrity events like Jeff Bezos' wedding. But when it comes to bringing UFC to the White House, she's all in. Originally planned for July 4th, 2026, America's 250th birthday, the event has been moved to June because the Independence Day schedule was already too packed. Think about that. They had to move a White House UFC event because July 4th was too busy. But wait, it gets better. The weigh-ins and press conferences are planned for the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Picture this. Fighters staring each other down with Honest Abe watching over them. That's not just a fight. That's American theater. Trump spokesperson Stephen Cheung called it one of the largest and most historic sporting events ever, and a testament to Trump's vision for America's 250th anniversary celebration. This isn't just a fight, it's a national event. Let's dive deeper into why Ivanka Trump's involvement is so crucial to making this historic event happen. First, her credentials are legitimate. Ivanka is a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so she actually understands the sport. This isn't some political figurehead being thrown into a project she doesn't understand. She's a practitioner who gets the technical aspects of MMA. According to Dana White on CBS Mornings, Ivanka reached out to me, and her and I started talking about the possibilities, where it would be, and I put together all the renderings. She's not just rubber stamping decisions, she's actively participating in venue selection and event design.
in the middle of this. So Ivanka reached out to me, and her and I started talking about the possibilities, where it would be. And, I put together all the renderings.
The Wall Street Journal reports that Ivanka joined the planning meetings, even participating by phone when she couldn't be there in person. Her involvement shows this isn't just Trump's pet project. It has buy-in from someone who understands both business operations and the sport itself. Remember, Ivanka attended UFC events with Trump and her husband Jared Kushner, including one in March where Trump received a standing ovation. She's seen how these events work, understands the audience, and knows what it takes to create a spectacular show. Her strategic thinking is evident in the venue changes too. The original plan was the Rose Garden, but that was too small. The move to the South Lawn shows someone thinking about crowd capacity and visual impact. That's Ivanka's business acumen at work. Trump and UFC have a relationship spanning over 2 decades. When UFC was fighting for acceptance and being labeled a brutal spectacle by politicians like Senator John McCain, Trump's Taj Mahal in Atlantic City gave the organization a lifeline. Dana White has never forgotten that support. But this White House event represents something bigger. It's Trump using the presidency to mainstream combat sports at the highest level of American culture. We're talking about legitimizing MMA, not just as entertainment, but as part of American heritage worthy of our most sacred political spaces. The timing is crucial too. UFC just signed a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount and Skydance, expanding to broadcast TV on CBS. This White House event could be the ultimate showcase for that mainstream expansion.
And today, they just announced the UFC just signed some crazy deal with Paramount Plus.
I saw that.
There's going to be no more pay-per-views. All the events are going to be available for everybody for free. Every pay-per-view, everything is going to be available for free.
Yeah.
What a great move to not just have the UFC for 7 years, but have it for free.
UFC and Paramount, what choice did Dana White and the UFC had? You either pay $90 to stream it on pay-per-view or get it free through an illegal streaming service anyway. So from the standpoint of the UFC making a great business decision, yeah, they were already getting ripped off and losing so much money because people were going to illegal streaming services to watch the pay-per-view event. Like, everybody has different apps they can go to, bypass the dollar amount and watch the event. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Well, what's he going to get now because it's free? Well, they just inked a $7.7 billion deal for exclusive rights. So well done, buddy. Way to play it.
Several prominent fighters are MAGA supporters, including Suga Sean O'Malley, Colby Covington, and Sean Strickland. Conor McGregor has expressed interest in returning for this event, which would be his first fight since 2022. The security implications alone are staggering. Originally, Trump suggested 20,000 spectators, but White now says it'll likely be a closed-off affair with comp tickets only. That means this becomes one of the most exclusive sporting events in history. We've seen tennis matches in the 1920s with President Warren G. Harding, George W. Bush's baseball games on the South Lawn, and Barack Obama's basketball sessions. But a full UFC event with an octagon, thousands of spectators, and national television coverage? That's completely unprecedented. This event could set a precedent for future presidents. Are we looking at the White House becoming a regular venue for major sporting events? Will other combat sports want their moment on the South Lawn? The international implications are huge too. Foreign leaders and diplomats will be watching America host cage fighting at the seat of government. That's either going to be seen as boldly American or completely controversial, probably both. One thing's certain, this event will be studied by historians for decades as a unique moment when American politics and combat sports merged at the highest level. So there you have it. Ivanka Trump isn't just planning a fight, she's orchestrating a historic moment that could redefine how we think about sports, politics, and American culture. Will this White House UFC event become a legendary moment in both political and sports history? Or will it be remembered as the day the presidency jumped the shark? What do you think about hosting cage fights on the South Lawn? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you Team Historic Spectacle or Team Presidential Dignity? Smash that like button if you want to see this event happen. Subscribe for more breaking political and sports news. And ring that notification bell so you never miss our coverage of the wildest stories in America.
Today, they just announced the UFC just signed some crazy deal with Paramount
I
Plus.
saw that.
There's going to be no more pay-per-views. All the events are going to be available for everybody for free. Every pay-per-view, everything is going to be available for free.
Yeah.
What a great move.